Hello and welcome. We are live on today's Periscope. And today we're going to be talking about Hello Forever Thumbelina, welcome, and Money to Home. It's brilliant to have you join us. I want to talk to you today. Hello Enigma Crazy. Oh, thank you for the hearts. We're going to talk about how to create content on Periscope, because I don't know if you're anything like me, but sometimes when you're sat in front of a camera, everything dries up, you're not sure what to say. So I want to share with you my personal action plan for creating content for things like Periscope or short videos that you can use wherever you need to, wherever you want to inspire your customers. So my name is Claire Yosa. I'm the founder of 5minute.biz and also the Introverted Entrepreneurs Club. Oh, thank you for the hearts. I've been an NLP trainer for over a decade. I used to be an engineer. I've been head of market research with a major company. I've been running my own business for 13 years. Hello, Forever Thumbelina. Thank you for the heart there. Now, I'd love to know, what are your questions about creating content on Periscope? Are you an old hand and you love it and you know exactly what you're going to say and what you're going to do? Or are you kind of treading the waters and thinking, I'd really love to dive in, but I just don't know what to say. I don't know how to engage people. I don't know what it is that they want from me. Let me know via the comments. I'm happy to answer your questions live, as many as I can. And after this broadcast, I love NLP. Fantastic. Thank you, Money at Home. I love it too. It's part of my toolkit. After the broadcast, we're going to continue the discussion live over at our Facebook group. And you can find that at 5minute.biz. That's where you can join us and you can get links to join the Facebook group, 5minute.biz. So, my top tip for content for Periscope, for Hangouts, for YouTube, wherever it is that you're live streaming, make some notes. Okay, there are some people on this planet that can stand there and they can just do a half-hour pitch off the top of their heads, and they can entertain, they can enthrall, they can stay on purpose, and when you're in the zone you can do that, but it's not easy. And when the camera's running and you're sitting there going, oh my goodness, how many people just heard me say Have you ever said all the way through a presentation and wished you hadn't? If that's what's running, have your notes. Because I'm guessing, I'd love to hear from you on this. I'm guessing you'd rather I had some sheets of pink paper than have to sit and listen to me talking nonsense and going off in tangent and random directions. Yeah, I'm guessing you don't mind the sheets. So if you don't mind, your customers won't mind either. Hello, Craig Chalmers. Thank you for joining us. So what on earth do you talk about on Periscope? And how do you know what your customers want to hear? The thing is, one of the things I love, okay, cool, so Forever Thumbelina, I've got an account, but I haven't started yet. I'm planning to share my life, experiences and work. That's brilliant. So this is one of the things I love about Periscope. I do Google Hangouts, I do YouTube, I do pre-recorded videos. I average about 300 videos a year for my various customer bases, my various projects, and also for my training courses. So sitting down pre-rehearsed and ready to go is something I'm really used to. Periscope is fantastic. To me, it's a bit like Instagram. You can share the other side of your life. So you can keep it on brand, but for example, I was in Italy last week. Welcome. I want to teach how to make money online. Cool. Money at home. Brilliant. Teaching is a brilliant way to use Periscope. So you can use it to be a little bit less formal than in something like a pre-rehearsed hangout. Thank you for the hearts, guys. Because it's spontaneous and because it has a 24-hour lifespan, it means that, like last week I was on holiday and I wanted to share with my viewers something I'd learned on a personal basis from going on a hellish day of train journeys about how my inner control freak was getting in the way of my life. I was able to do that quite spontaneously. The lighting didn't have to be perfect. The wording didn't have to be perfect, because I knew that the nature of Periscope is that slightly less formal environment. So the top tip I have, though, is if you're going to do a Periscope broadcast, whether it's 5 minutes or an hour, make sure you have a clear outcome in mind. I would strongly recommend avoiding just switching on Periscope, hello Lisa, and just waffling, because if you just switch it on without that clear deliverable, you're going to lose your audience quite quickly. And it's so easy to think, I want to do a Periscope, it's really exciting, and then you get stage fright with potentially thousands of people watching. So my top tip is, before you do any scope, know your big why. Why am I doing this? Yeah, oh, thank you for the hearts. If you've got any questions at any stage, do pop them on the screen. I'll do my best to catch them and answer them too. Why are you going to run this Periscope? Yeah, this is a business. It's not there with your mates. If it's with your mates, it's different. It's, a public chat. Why are you going to run this Periscope? And something from my years of NLP training, what is the transformation or experience you want to deliver? Now, for example, I'm going to be scoping later this week on how to make your own home sprouted almond milk. That's quite a tangent from my usual business work, but I know that a lot of the people who connect with me really are into raw food, sprouted food, living healthily, and stuff like that scares them. So my intention there will be to make it really easy for them to follow step by step through the process of making almond milk. And we'll have fun, and it will be informal, and it will be kind of like a chat. But that will be my intention. My intention for you today is for you to understand some of the pitfalls. You've lost connection. I'm sorry about that, Lisa. Try rebooting. That usually works. Is to understand some of the pitfalls. I'm just going to make sure it's not at my end. No. Understand some of the pitfalls, the risks, and get clear about your content plan. So, Periscope, as I said, is more informal than something like a Hangout or a webinar or a pre-recorded video on YouTube or on Vimeo. So you get to be really human. But I've got an aside for you. You need to bear in mind, if you want to be running training via Periscope, in the licensing terms for Periscope, it actually says that you give them permission forever to use your content in any way they want to. Which is kind of scary. It's not uncommon these days, and well done, Lisa, you got back in. It's not uncommon for there to be a license agreement like that in things like Periscope these days, but bear that in mind. It's a real golden tip. If you want to start doing stuff on Periscope that might be paid training in the future, bear in mind, one, yes, the whole world can see it, but two, Periscope has the license for it in perpetua, so they can use it for whatever they want to in the future. If you're pre-recording stuff and doing webinars and things, then you keep the license. So please bear that in mind before you put your gold dust training on Periscope and then wonder why in 2 years' time they're selling it at their profit. So for content, the 3 E's, okay? Educate, entertain, and engage. Now, we all love how-to stuff, yeah? We all love to find out how to do things. How-to works brilliantly on Periscope. Just think of some of the things you're brilliant at. And I'd love to hear from you via the comments right now, or if you're watching this on the replay, come over to our Facebook group. You can find out how to get there at 5minute.biz. What is it you love doing that you know how to do that might help other people? Now, it doesn't have to be absolutely clearly in line with your business. It can be something that's an aside that fits with your brand. How-to, educating people. We love it. Yeah? Then entertaining. Okay, I'm not going to get my fluffy cats and my dog out and show them to you on this video. But entertaining people, we love being entertained. Can you imagine if I was doing this Periscope like this, all very monotone? It doesn't work. Be yourself. You don't have to suddenly pretend you're on stage as a stand-up comedian, but allow that fun, that bubbliness, that beauty within you to shine through, and you will find your own way of entertaining your audience. And then with the engaging, I learned this years ago back in my market research days. I was head of market research at Dyson. I had done an enormous research study. I was presenting it back, and at the end of the presentation, I was really, I did really well. I didn't say and people nodded and smiled at the right places. Afterwards, my boss came to me. She said, Claire, that was great. You could have made it even better next time if you actually asked questions. So I had done this full hour's presentation, and they had to sit there and do death by PowerPoint. Now, luckily, that was 15 years ago. But it's really important to remember on Periscope, although you're staring at your camera, there are real people out there, yeah? I can really feel you guys here with me, and it's an absolute honour to have you sharing this space. So if at any stage you've got questions or feedback, or you want to give some hearts, please do. And as I said, 5minute.biz, join us afterwards. But engaging, when you're looking at what you want to say in your Periscope presentation, in your scope, think ahead. Where are the key points? We're actually pausing Asking a question and letting people give feedback and responding to that feedback might really work. Plan it in ahead, actually get it on your sheets, and then just make sure you do it. And you're much more likely to create something that's two-way that you'll really enjoy. So, content for a Periscope. Benefit, promise, deliver. Yeah. People aren't so fussed in what it is you're going to tell them. They want to know what's in it for them. Talk about what's in it for them. Put the what's in it for them in the title. What is that outcome? What's your big why? Build it into the promise from their perspective. By the end of this session, you're going to be clearer on some of the risks on Periscope content and some of the ways you can create content and engage people and entertain them in a way that they'll enjoy, in a way that fits with your tribe and your business, yeah? Look at it from a benefit point of view, make a promise, and deliver on that promise. Those three components, you do that with the educate, entertain, engage, and you're done. It can be that simple, and it doesn't take a lot of planning. It's okay to make notes, it's okay to engage, it's okay to ask questions. If you've got any questions at any stage, let me know. And I'd also love to know, excuse me, one of the joys of life, I'd love to know, what are your favourite ways of creating your content for things like short videos and periscopes? Now, one of the questions I was asked this week is, what do you do if your content stream goes crazy? Yeah, if the comments and the hearts and the people joining goes mad, it can be really hard to manage on Periscope, okay? Now, I would strongly suggest what you do is you go with the flow, you welcome people as they arrive. If comments and questions come up, you respond if you can. You allow it to be a conversation, but don't allow that to get in the way of your core message. Because otherwise it's like being at like the cocktail party that's full of background noise and everybody yelling across the room at each other. So set boundaries, and you might find there's a stage where you say, you know what, the next 5 minutes, I don't want to take any questions. I just want to focus on delivering the absolute gems that you need. And I'll come back to your questions afterwards, or we can discuss them in the group. Be clear, set boundaries. Then people understand if you need a pause, and they'll give you a pause. And if you want questions, tell people, right now, I'd love to know what you're thinking. What are your questions? Any thoughts so far? Any insights? How does this fit with what you've been doing with Periscopes, or what you're hoping to do with Periscopes? And in fact, I know a couple of you, thank you, have already told me where you're at, but I'd love to hear from you. Are you already running Periscopes? Are you thinking about doing it? Is this going to be for business? Is it going to be for your personal life? Let me know via the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And then it's also worth it. When you're looking through this, on the comments, you can press people's names and then you can actually connect with them. So if somebody's saying, hey, I want to use Periscopes for how to get rid of greenfly, if that resonates for you while we're on this scope, you can click their name, you can go and follow them, and then when they're doing those Periscopes, they'll show up in your feed. So it's a great way to connect and get to know people. So I'd love to know from you, what do you want to do with Periscope? What's your big why for Periscope? And when could you take action on it? Because one of the really important things with Periscope is having that clear vision inside. And it's not a sales platform. Yeah, this is about entertaining, educating, engaging, getting to know people, growing your audience. If you could do a Periscope today or tomorrow, what would you do it on? I'd love to know. What would be the core benefit for your viewers, the promise you're making, and how would you deliver on that promise? Because one of the most important things when you're using Periscope as a business person is that call to action, getting people inspired to take action. And you need to plan that in to what you're doing. The other big tip I've got, attention spans. Yeah, we're not going to do too much longer today because attention spans are quite short. Yeah. If you're doing an hour-long webinar, somebody's got it in their diary, they know it's going to take an hour, they've got their mug of whatever it is they're drinking, and they know they're going to commit that time to you. On Periscope, it's much more informal. It's much more spontaneous. So honor that attention span. Most of us have got 5-minute chunk attention spans. So break down what you want to say into 5-minute chunks. And in between those 5 minutes, if you've got multiple chunks in one scope, make sure you have a pause for engagement, for questions, and a change of topic, a change of gear. So that's another top tip from the NLP world there. So how do you decide what to talk about? For those of you on this call who've already done some scopes, I'd love to hear from you. Okay, Forever Thumbelina, build my confidence in live speaking with an audience. I'd like to share my journey. Lisa wants to use Periscope for quick social media tips, and there's a but, so there's more coming on this comment. I look forward to seeing that. This is what it's great for. Quick tips, short and sweet. And one of the ways, I've jotted down some ideas here for you. You could look at which questions have you been asked lately in your forums or in your newsletter, or if you don't have a forum and a newsletter yet, if you hang out in other people's, which questions have you seen come up that you just think, I could do a 5-minute gem on that. Okay, so Lisa's worried about her ideal target not being so social media savvy. This is one of the brilliant things about Periscope is you can get them to watch it online. They don't have to download an app. They don't have to do anything. So if you're worried about them not understanding something, it's worth maybe taking a moment to go and stand in their shoes from their perspective and think, if I were them, with their hopes and dreams and worries and fears, how would this need to be presented for me to feel it was simple and easy, and to know that I felt inspired to take action? So you're looking at questions that are coming up in forums, or questions that maybe you wish had come up in forums because you know the person needed to ask them. Go in there, do a 5 or 10 minute scope. Look at if you've done an article or a video, or you've read one or watched one from someone else and you've got some commentary, run a Periscope on that. If you've got a new business idea, run a Periscope on that to get feedback. If you are simply feeling totally inspired to get a message out there, run a Periscope. Yeah, this stuff is spontaneous. You can train your tribe to expect it at certain times. You can promote it in your newsletter. But the most important thing is the benefit, the promise, and then delivering. And getting them inspired to take action at the end. So I'm curious, what could you run a Periscope on? If you were to run a Periscope in the next 24 hours, which topic would you pick? And which benefit or experience would you deliver? I'd love to hear from you. The other top tip I've got is make your content fit with your usual content planning. If you have a blog plan or a newsletter plan, or however you're running your business, or if you're a yoga teacher and it's a lesson plan, make your Periscope content fitting with that so it builds. 1, it's less work for you. 2, it allows you to dive in more deeply on topics that are already of interest to your readers. Oh, I love this one. Money at home. How to do work at home with the kids during the summer holidays. I know. My kids are 10, 8 and 3. And yeah, it's a juggling act, isn't it? That would be a great topic for a Periscope. Please let me know when you run that one. I'd love to watch it. So making it fit with your planning, you can of course still be spontaneous, but don't make more work for yourself. Don't suddenly sit there going, oh, I've got to Periscope today. Look at what you're already talking about and dive in more deeply on that. And the absolute key is enjoy it. If you're inspired, you can inspire your audience. If you're doing it from kind of like a have to, ought to, must, that is what your audience is going to feel, and they're not going to come back to watch more. So keep it on brand. Keep it focused at your target market. Allow it to be more spontaneous. Have fun. Remember the benefit. Remember the promise. Deliver on it and get people wanting to take action at the end. Bring them back at the end to what I call your most wanted response. When you think about your big why, right at the beginning of today's Periscope, what was that? And what response do you want from your audience as a result of that? What action do you want to inspire them to take? And for me today, for those of you who are already Periscoping, I would love you to come over to 5minute.biz and sign up, join us at the Facebook group, and let me know when we can all come and watch your next Periscope. I'd love to see it. And I really want you to feel inspired by this. You can do this. Break it down into small chunks. Have fun. Make it easy. And really stand in your customers' shoes. What do they want to hear? What are their questions? What's keeping them awake at night? Give them little teasers. And really, really, just be yourself. Be yourself. Have your notes, have your basic structure, and apart from that, just allow it to be a conversation. So I really hope that has helped you today. This is one of the modules from my free Periscope training, which if you want to come and grab your place, it's a 7-day training to take you from beginner to pro on Periscope. Oh, you're very welcome, Lisa. Thank you. Any hearts would be much appreciated since Periscope counts those so highly. There's a free Periscope training. Come and find out all about it, 5minute.biz, and also join our Facebook group. I'd love to take questions from you on this Skype today, help you with your content. Thank you, the hearts. And I will be back next time when we're going to be talking about how to look good on Periscope, how to avoid the rookie mistakes that leave you looking like an amateur, and all sorts of other fantastic tips. Thank you so much, Forever Thumbelina. That's very kind words. Please, let's follow each other. I really look forward to sharing this journey with you. I'm going to sign off for now. I'll see you over at the Facebook group. Have a fantastic day.